I got a video you guys gonna want to see. They're talking about Katt Williams. They're finally talking about Bernie Mac. If you guys know that I know, it's been so much the industry did Bernie Mac so wrong. And Katt Williams, he always been the person that's going to speak out even when nobody else want to speak out. Katt Williams is not afraid of the white system. He's going to speak out against the white system, and that's why we respect him. I want you guys to watch this video. Let me know your thoughts. And yeah, rest in peace to Bernie Mac.
So now I know the real Bernie Mac stories, and I know that the people that made money off Bernie Mac didn't like him. They hated his guts. And that was our king. That was our real king. I'm gonna let you shit on Bernie and then come get me? I'm the next king? Fuck you.
We all know Bernie Mac as the king of laughter, a legend with unshakable integrity. But what if all those smiles, blockbuster movies, and standing ovations were just a smokescreen, hiding a storm darker than anyone could have ever imagined? Bernie tried to warn us. He wasn't just performing comedy. He was sounding the alarm about a machine that drains artists dry and then throws them away. Yet why did powerful figures like Oprah Winfrey or his fellow stage brother Steve Harvey choose to stay silent while Bernie was fighting for his life? The only person who dared to speak up was the whistleblower himself, Katt Williams. This isn't just another Hollywood drama. This is a story about untold dark secrets, terrifying unwritten rules, and Katt Williams' brutal expose on who the real brothers were and who was just wearing a mask. Let's uncover the entire truth right now. The first bricks in Chicago and the life-changing turning point. Bernie Mac, born Bernard Jeffrey McCullough on October 5th, 1957 in Chicago, Illinois. After his beloved mother passed away, the 16-year-old teenager had to move to Florida, only to face more devastating blows from fate, as both his father and brother passed away shortly after. Returning to Chicago with a deeply scarred heart, he graduated from Chicago Vocational High School in 1975 and began a grueling struggle to make a living. Before the world knew him as a comedy superstar, Bernie Mac had to work all kinds of jobs just to survive, from driving buses, cooking janitorial work, and delivery to professional moving. But every weekend, he transformed. At the Cotton Club in Chicago, Bernie honed his stand-up material, turning the painful experiences and hardships of his life into his sharpest satirical weapons. The big breakthrough came at age 32, when he won the Miller Lite Comedy Search. However, the fire of Bernie Mac truly erupted into a cultural earthquake when he stepped onto HBO's Def Comedy Jam stage in 1992. That night, after comedian Martin Lawrence's efforts failed to calm an incredibly hostile and angry crowd, Bernie Mac walked out with unshakable pride. He looked straight into the audience and shouted the words that would become legendary. "I ain't scared of you motherfuckers." His raw grit, authenticity, and fiery energy completely tamed the crowd. Bernie Mac's name skyrocketed, turning him from an opening act into a headliner who sold out every major theater. The peak of fame and warnings from the shadows. When his stand-up comedy fame grew too big to ignore, Hollywood could no longer look past Bernie Mac. He began transitioning into cinema with small but highly memorable roles in House Party 3 1994 and Ice Cube's cult classic Friday 1995. Bernie's natural charisma and commanding presence earned him the lead role in the reimagined musical The Wiz at the legendary Apollo Theater. Bernie Mac's status officially reached a whole new level when he starred alongside A-list superstars like Brad Pitt, George Clooney, and Julia Roberts in the blockbuster Ocean's 11 franchise 2001. He continued to prove his versatility across genres, playing a retired baseball player in Mr. 3000, the hilarious Bosley in Charlie's Angels Full Throttle, and leaving a lasting mark in major projects like Bad Santa Guess Who and the action blockbuster Transformers. Even after his passing, his final cinematic legacies in Madagascar, Two Soul Men, and Old Dogs continued to bring laughter to millions of viewers. The Bernie Mac Show, Television Pinnacle, and The Price of Integrity. In 2001, Fox handed Bernie a golden opportunity, his own television sitcom, The Bernie Mac Show, which ran until 2006. Here, He played a fictionalized version of himself, a straight-shooting, tough-loving, yet deeply compassionate man. The show was a massive success, earning an Emmy for outstanding writing, a prestigious Peabody Award, and a Humanitas Prize for promoting human dignity. TV Guide even ranked his character on its list of the 50 greatest TV dads of all time. Bernie himself received multiple Emmy and Golden Globe nominations and took home several NAACP Image Awards. But according to various interviews and stories that circulated years later, that success also came with immense behind-the-scenes pressure. One story frequently recalled by fans is an incident during a promotional photo shoot for the Bernie Mac show. According to accounts shared online, and often linked by many to statements from other artists, the crew made a highly sensitive request during the shoot. Bernie Mac reportedly shut down the request immediately and demanded that the idea be dropped. This served as a testament to Bernie Mac's image as someone who always placed moral boundaries above any career pressure. This very incident has led many viewers to draw parallels to what Dave Chappelle once publicly shared about Hollywood. After walking away from a $50 million contract with Comedy Central in 2004, Chappelle explained multiple times that his decision was not about money, but about the growing pressure to compromise his personal values for agendas he no longer agreed with. In his 2006 interview with Oprah Winfrey, Chappelle stated that anyone who dares to speak out about anomalies in the entertainment industry is easily labeled crazy, out of control, or difficult to work with. That, according to him, is a tactic to make the public doubt the whistleblower, instead of focusing on what they are actually saying. Another topic frequently brought up by Chappelle is the trend of many black male comedians appearing on screen in women's clothing. He once questioned whether this was merely for comedic effect, or if it reflected a broader trend within the entertainment industry. Chappelle argued that the repetition of this imagery could contribute to the emasculation of black men under the guise of comedy. Similar sentiments have been echoed when discussing the roles of Martin Lawrence, Eddie Murphy, or Tyler Perry, though each artist has their own reasons and perspectives regarding their career choices. In many social media discussions, many fans have placed Bernie Mac on the same battlefront as Dave Chappelle because of his reputation for rarely doing what he believed went against his principles just to secure opportunities in the industry. Although he did not frequently speak publicly on this topic, Bernie's steadfast defense of his own boundaries has cemented his legacy as an outspoken, honorable artist who refused to bend to the pressures of Hollywood. The tragic dark side, drained to the bone. In the eyes of the public, Bernie Mac was a man who always appeared with a smile, confidence, and seemingly endless energy. Behind the spotlight, he had a happy marriage lasting over 3 decades, with his high school sweetheart, Rhonda Gore, and their daughter, Janice. But few knew that for years Bernie was quietly battling sarcoidosis, an autoimmune disease that causes inflammation in multiple organs, especially the lungs, repeatedly leaving him in severe shortness of breath. Although diagnosed in the 1980s, Bernie rarely let his illness stand in the way of his work. He kept taking on movies, touring, and filming, always striving to keep his promises to both his audience and producers. It was this decision that turned his final years into a relentless race between his career and his health. Years after Bernie passed away, actor Reginald Ballard, who once worked alongside him, shared heartbreaking memories. According to Ballard, Bernie frequently had to work while his health was in severe decline, but a grueling shooting schedule left him with almost no chance to rest. Ballard revealed there were times when scheduling conflicts across multiple projects forced Bernie to constantly rush between film sets. He also mentioned that production schedules for some movies were disrupted by unexpected changes, piling even more pressure to deliver onto Bernie's shoulders. These accounts sparked intense debate about how the film industry treats actors living with chronic illnesses. During the filming of the Ocean's franchise, Bernie's condition deteriorated significantly. To manage his sarcoidosis, he had to take prednisone, a powerful corticosteroid. While the medication helped control the inflammation, it also brought severe side effects like swelling, weight gain, a weakened immune system, and made breathing even more difficult. According to Ballard, there were days when Bernie would finish a scene and immediately rush back to his dressing room to breathe oxygen. Just minutes later, he would step right back in front of the camera, continuing to perform with a calm demeanor, as if nothing was wrong. For many of his colleagues, this was an unforgettable image. An artist who still smiled in front of the lens while struggling behind the scenes, just to catch his breath. Bernie Mac's daughter, Janice McCullough, has also shared multiple times that her father always put his professional responsibilities ahead of his own well-being. She mentioned that Bernie rarely complained about his illness and always tried to fulfill every commitment even when his health was completely depleted. These revelations from his family and colleagues led many to question whether Bernie was given the proper opportunities to rest and receive adequate care during the final stages of his career. While there is no evidence suggesting film studios intentionally neglected him, Bernie Mac's story remains a stark reminder of the harsh pressures within the entertainment industry on artists who strive to deliver despite their illnesses. The Rift of the Kings, inside the Kings of Comedy. In 2000, the concert film The Original Kings of Comedy, directed by Spike Lee, became a historic milestone in American comedy. 4 names, Steve Harvey, Cedric the Entertainer, D.L. Hewley, and Bernie Mac, shared a single stage, creating a cultural phenomenon with deep and far-reaching influence. The tour and the film grossed tens of millions of dollars, helping to propel black stand-up comedy to the very center of American entertainment. Yet according to many insiders, the atmosphere behind the stage was not always as bright as the lights in front of the audience. Cedric the Entertainer once admitted that a very distinct rivalry existed between Bernie Mac and Steve Harvey. Both were artists with strong personalities, both wanted to deliver the absolute best performance, and both boasted massive fan bases. This competition, according to Cedric, occasionally created tension during the tour. According to multiple sources, the disagreements among the members were considered one of the primary reasons this legendary lineup never reunited for a tour of similar scale, despite audiences constantly holding out hope for a sequel. The shocking 2003 GQ interview. The relationship between Bernie Mac and Steve Harvey became the center of attention after Bernie's interview with GQ magazine in 2003. In that interview, Bernie expressed his belief that Steve Harvey was jealous of the movie opportunities he was receiving and claimed that Steve had taken actions that did not support his career. These statements quickly caught the media's attention and sparked intense speculation about the feud between the two comedians. Steve Harvey later rejected the allegations. He repeatedly asserted that he never tried to block Bernie and expressed his disappointment over what had been published. After Bernie passed away, Steve also shared that he had the opportunity to speak with Bernie's widow, Rhonda McCullough, and that conversation helped him find peace regarding the past misunderstandings. Katt Williams has repeatedly mentioned Bernie Mac with immense respect. In interviews and podcasts, he regards Bernie Mac as one of the greatest comedians and a man of principle. Katt Williams, no one replaces Bernie Mac. To Katt Williams, Bernie Mac was not simply a successful comedian, he was the absolute pinnacle of stand-up comedy. Katt has asserted on numerous occasions to the media that Bernie was the funniest one, the funniest person he ever had the privilege of witnessing in his lifetime. In Katt's eyes, every time Bernie Mac stepped onto the stage, he set the room on fire with an unparalleled, explosive energy. Bernie's presence set an incredibly intimidating standard of performance, a no-fly zone of talent, where, according to Katt, almost no contemporary artist had the strength to keep up or the confidence to stand on the same level without being completely swallowed by his light. Yet behind that brilliant spotlight was a harsh reality that Katt Williams has always held close to his heart, with pure outrage. Katt frankly expressed his personal view that Bernie Mac was never given the respect and treatment he deserved while he was alive. With a bitter tone, Katt exposed the hypocrisy of the entertainment industry, how they rushed to praise, mourn, and honor Bernie, only after his sudden passing in 2008. Meanwhile, during the very moments Bernie was facing some of the darkest and most challenging times of his career, those same people singing his praises today chose to stay silent, turn their backs, and refuse to extend a helping hand to the veteran comedian. Although these are merely Katt's subjective assessments, they paint a realistic picture of the isolation legends face amidst the whirlpool of fame. Katt's defense of Bernie Mac became even more dramatic when he aimed his sights at Steve Harvey and the behind-the-scenes disputes surrounding the legendary tour, The Original Kings of Comedy. Katt did not hesitate to downplay Steve Harvey when comparing him directly to Bernie, asserting that Bernie's raw talent was entirely superior and on a completely different level. Katt also flatly shattered the public's assumption about the show's structure. The fact that someone was the closing act did not reflect them being the funniest person. To Katt, that was merely an organizational and commercial arrangement. Whereas the title of the true king in the hearts of the audience, the one who brought the most genuine deep laughs, will forever belong to only one man, Bernie Mac. Katt Williams' reverence for Bernie Mac did not stop at empty praise. It became a guiding compass that directly influenced his own career decisions. Katt once revealed that the reason he flatly rejected a series of highly lucrative movie projects and television shows was because he smelled a setup to replace Bernie. Katt felt that producers were trying to find a face to fill the void Bernie Mac left behind. To Katt, that was a massive insult to the legacy of the late icon. Bernie Mac was a one-of-a-kind figure, an entity that could not be copied or replaced by anyone, not even Katt himself. Rejecting those multi-million-dollar opportunities was Katt Williams's strongest statement. Honor and respect for his great predecessor would always stand far above any cheap material gain. Although the controversies between Bernie Mac and Steve Harvey are still frequently brought up, what remains undeniable is that all four members of the Original Kings of Comedy helped change the history of American stand-up. Personal differences may have prevented audiences from ever seeing a proper reunion, but the legacy they left behind continues to inspire generations of artists to come. To this day, the question of the true depth of the rift between Bernie Mac and Steve Harvey has no definitive answer. Some believe it was merely professional rivalry between two major stars, while others argue there were unresolved grievances behind the scenes that were never fully told. It is this mystery that has made the story of the Kings of Comedy one of the most debated chapters in the history of American comedy. Unanswered questions. Friendship, fame, and silence. After Bernie Mac passed away, many in the entertainment industry expressed their grief and praised his contributions. However, for a segment of his fans, this also raised another question. Why did so many tributes only appear after Bernie was no longer here? Over the years, Bernie Mac worked alongside many of the biggest names in showbiz. Later, when debates about Hollywood and the pressures on artists were brought up by the likes of Katt Williams or Dave Chappelle, some viewers began to wonder why many influential figures never publicly commented or spoke out about the experiences Bernie had faced. To this day, there is no public evidence showing that Oprah Winfrey, Steve Harvey, or other famous figures intentionally turned their backs on Bernie Mac or coordinated in any action to disadvantage him. Speculations regarding connections between celebrities and underground systems remain largely based on unverified rumors. What many colleagues and friends do agree on when remembering Bernie Mac is his straightforward personality, and the fact that he rarely accepted doing anything against his principles just to secure career opportunities. It is this very image that has led many fans to connect Bernie's story to later statements by Dave Chappelle or Katt Williams about the pressures within the entertainment industry. However, this is a comparison made by the public, and there is no evidence showing Bernie ever claimed he was targeted for refusing to participate in any secret, machine, or game. A tribute from Bernie Mac's daughter. One of the most notable voices following the wave of debates is Bernie Mac's daughter, Janice McCullough. She has repeatedly expressed her appreciation for artists who continue to keep her father's legacy alive, including Katt Williams. According to Janice, what moves her is not the praise that came after Bernie passed away, but the genuine respect that certain colleagues showed him while he was still alive. This perspective has been shared by many fans, serving as a reminder that an artist's value should be recognized while they are still here to feel that appreciation. Although the behind-the-scenes stories continue to be debated, what remains unchanged is Bernie Mac's impact on American comedy. He is remembered as an artist who dared to say what he believed, an actor who always gave his all, and a man who put his family and personal principles above fame. Perhaps the most food for thought lies not in the unresolved theories, but in the question many still ask after Bernie Mac's passing. Did the entertainment industry truly do enough to protect and cherish artists like him while they were still alive? What no one can deny is that Bernie Mac changed the history of American stand-up comedy. He inspired generations of future artists and proved that a comedian does not just bring laughter, but can also bring courage, self-respect, and character. What are your thoughts on Bernie Mac's story? In your opinion, did the struggles he faced stem primarily from the brutal pressures of the entertainment industry, from his illness, or from a combination of multiple factors? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you love stories exploring the lesser-known sides of Hollywood legends, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our upcoming videos. Thank you for watching. See you in the next episode. Peace.
Some opinions expressed in this video may be subjective and reflect the content creator's perspective at the time of production. They should not be interpreted as objective facts or official positions. From the stage to the big screen, their influence is undeniable. Thank you for watching this tribute. If you enjoyed this walk through history, leave a like and subscribe to the Silent Legends archives. This video specifically recommended for you reveals a truth that few people talk about. Watch it now to see the full picture. Take care of yourselves